For the panel discussion, we have Professor Dr. Rofina Yasmin Othman, Chairman of Meranti, Dr. Yukihiro Maru, Founder and Group CEO of Livenest Co. Limited, Professor Datin Paduka Dr. Teo Su Huang, Chief Scientific Officer of Cancer Research Malaysia, and Eugene No, Strategic Advisor, Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. And this session will be moderated by Muhammad Safwan Muhammad Zairi, Chief Ecosystem Development Officer of Meranti. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now, Mr. Safwan, I'll hand over the stage over to you.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. I think a lot of advertisements were made about me and my hair by my CEO and also by the Green Man. I think the Green Man is not here. Again, how's everybody feeling? Okay, wait. No, fair. I ask again. How's everybody feeling? Okay lah. Better. With me today, you have a distinguished line of panelists whom I have the great opportunity to, the word that was about to come out was just now, was to embarrass them. Because over the weekend, we dug up so much fun fact, guys. This session is about fun fact about them rather than about the topic. So which one do you guys want? The fun fact session or the... Anyway, no. We're not going to do that. So I have together with me, Prof. Dr. Rofina Yasmin Othman. Proud to say that she's also my chairman for Meranti. And we have Professor Datin Paduka, Dr. Teo Su Huang. Yeah. Shall I call you Prof. Teo? All right. And Dr. Yukihiro Maru, all the way from Japan, guys. You know, Dr. Maru-san. And his team of Livenest. I know, I heard the clap from there. And then also we have Eugene No, Strategic Advisor from the Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. This is not your typical panel. I think we didn't pay anything to bring them here. But anyway, just enjoy in terms of their expertise, their experience. And as let me just give a session overview. We don't have much time. We have about 33 minutes left. That's cruel. But this panel is to provide an insight on how ecosystem enablers plays a crucial role in promoting successful commercialization, and creating a conducive environment to innovation, as well as driving economic growth. It explores how ecosystem enablers, including research accelerators, forward-thinking cooperation, research institutions, are all vital in facilitating the commercialization journey. So often I think today you're hearing a lot about commercialization, and it's because Meranti is in business of accelerating demand-driven R&D in technology, to position Malaysia as an innovation nucleus, advancing towards a leading technology producer nation. That's what we want to be. And also, so I shall switch into my fun fact mode, and as they say, tak kenal maka tak cinta. So a bit about some information regarding our speakers here today, starting with Prof. Rofina, a distinguished figure in the field of science and technology, known for groundbreaking contributions in biotechnology and molecular science. When I received the CV for Dr. Rofina, I said it would be injustice if I were to summarize it, but I had to do my best. Graduated in PhD in plant virology from University of East Anglia, UK. Over 2 decades of experience and expertise to the forefront of cutting-edge research. Currently serving as chairman of Meranti. Yay, my chairman, not yours. So Prof. Rofina is committed to advise to build an innovative ecosystem to accelerate the scale of R&D outputs. In addition to that, she's an honorary professor to the Institute of Advanced Studies at University Malaya and adjunct professor at IUMW and UCSI. Fun fact. Okay, never mind. I'll do the serious stuff first. Prof. Teo first. And a distinguished scientist and visionary leader in the field of medicine and cancer research, currently serving as the Chief Scientific Officer at the Cancer Research Malaysia, where she leads the research portfolio. Her team leads the first and foremost comprehensive study on efficient screening to prevent Asian women at a higher risk of breast cancer as well as leading the largest study of genomic profiles of Asian breast cancer that provides insight into treatment and survival in Asian women. Her expertise lies in translating scientific discovery into tangible achievements for cancer patients. And again, I'm skipping the fun facts, so that keep them waiting. Dr. Yukihiro Maru, which is the founder and group CEO of Liveness Company Limited, and he founded the Liveness Company Limited in 2002, and which became a leading science bridge communication company in Japan. Dr. Maru is the technical advisor for Yoglina Company Limited, which is listed in Tokyo Stock Exchange in 2014, and is also a unicorn. So that's an achievement. He's also an innovator that has been involved in launching more than 78 startups, including Challenergy, an energy startups that created the first wind turbines that can withstand and harness energy from typhoons. And lastly, Mr. Eugenio, the strategy advisor for Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. He has had a profound impact in the intersection of science, technology, as well as innovation, abundance of experience in commercialization university technology, and launching transformative deep tech startup from UC Berkeley and National University of Singapore. Currently serving as a strategic advisor at Korean Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, and plays a pivotal role in shaping the Institute's long-term vision and guiding its strategic initiative in identifying emerging trends, as well as envision potential applications. Okay, you got that? Everybody jot that down? Yeah? All right, now, the more serious stuff is the fun facts. So you're gonna guess who's who, yeah? So, throughout this person's career, she has published, delete. Throughout this person's career, this person has published extensively and supervised more than 50 PhD and MSc students, and as well as been a professor in teaching microbiology and biotechnology in the Institute of Biological Sciences. Come on, give me Chan lah. Okay lah. I don't know. You got Prof. Dio, you got Prof. Rovina. Founded Leaf Age Technology, a plant biotech innovation platform focusing on the promotion of uptake of advances in plant science of R&D for the betterment of people and planet. On the board of Zeraya Capital as well. And last Saturday was awarded the Darjah Paduka Kura Manja Kini, PCM from the Sultan of Perak. So, round of applause first. Okay, do you still think it's Dr. Ravina? Very clever. Okay, next person. Oh, this is going to be a date giveaway as well. Could have been an accountant or an air hostess. I'm looking at Dr. Maru and Mr. Eugene. And not a scientist. So, sits together with Tan Sri Tengku Ahmad Yahya and Toh Puan Dr. Aisyah Ong, established and led the first non-profit date giveaway Cancer Research Malaysia Laboratory back in 2001. Yeah? Most highly cited Malaysian scientists in medicine, having published 231 research articles and been cited close to about 20,000 times. And awarded the Honorary Officer of the British Empire, OBE, from Queen Elizabeth in 2017. And particularly significant because she's the only female scientist to have won it in Malaysia. Right? So, hey, you should guess first and then clap, okay? No, there's a date giveaway unless I have something I don't know about Dr. Maru. Let me check. Okay, he and his co-founder, Mr. Joe Sun, used to be in the same band. If he had not been here today, he would have been a singer, a drum player, or playing the guitar on stage for you today. Still not too late though, we can still go down and see, he still plays, yeah? Anyway, so that's Dr. Maru. He loves durian. Only takes 1 day off per month. Maybe somewhere between December, the date of the 32nd of December. Raised by a Malaysian nanny when he was young, no wonder. Enjoys swimming and participates in triathlon. Okay, makes me tired saying that. Okay. And lastly, hey, where's the, okay, this is fun as well. Living in Seoul, Mr. Eugene, our last panelist, had a weekly radio spot on positive psychology. Everybody feeling okay? Yeah? If not, we have Dr. Eugene you can speak to. Has a sharp eye for doppelgangers. I'm not sure whether that's a scary thing or not, but never forgets the face of someone he has met. Yeah. So let's try that after this. He has never gotten past episode 2 of any K-drama, but loves Korean films. Okay. And established, managed 4 startups program. Were you in the Korean sitcom startups? No? And I host a bachelor in science and civil engineering. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, those are a bit of fun facts. So let me go to the serious stuff. The question that I have lined up for the panelists. The first question is actually open to all panelists. You know, we talk about ecosystem dynamic as well as success stories. When we talk about catalyzing commercialization and impact, you know, how do you see in terms of the dynamic interplay between all the ecosystem stakeholders, yeah? The research accelerator, corporation, research institution, and also, first of all, describe how you see the interplay. And secondly, if you can cite any case studies that they can share with the participants. Can I start with Mr. Eugene?
Sure. Thank you for the warm opening words and a quick note about the fun fact. Recognizing, remembering a face. I saw someone at pedaling, the Jalan pedaling on Saturday. Someone I hadn't seen in 20 years walked by and said, "That must be Ida." Walked by behind her, tapped her on the shoulder, and it was her. So yes, to confirm, that is a superpower that I have. But in terms of answering the real question around what's often called deep tech and commercializing novel research and technologies out of that's often coming out of research institutes or universities, they're different than other kinds of startups because when you have a mobile app, you can just post it on the App Store. Or if you have an e-commerce site, you can post it on, you can build a website. So when you do deep tech, it requires broad skill sets, as Dr. Salim mentioned today, but it also requires a lot of institutional support. You're often developing multiple technologies in synergy with each other. So because of that, it does require a level of coordination and collaboration that other kinds of startups don't. I think we all understand it intuitively, but I wanted to more specifically outline that. But in balance with that is the fact that ultimately it's always driven by the entrepreneur, by the innovators, and the new technologies that and solutions that they're bringing forward to the market. And so it is this dance where you have a driving force of the founders and the team that they've brought together to bring this vision to reality, while at the same time knowing how to play well with all the other players in mind. But I'll just close with one, I think, key ingredient for the underlying mindsets for that to work is the ability to have a non-zero-sum mindset, meaning that each player needs to recognize that we share in the success, and that if we work together, we can grow the pie bigger. And though my piece of the credit or of the value of this success might be smaller proportionally, that net it's larger because we've done something much bigger, more ambitious and bigger together. And I think each player needs to have that and then play their role accordingly. So some initial thoughts. Yeah.
The greater being the sum of the parts, you know, the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, right? Okay. Prof. Teo?
Sure. I'll keep my comments short, I think, because time is running short. I guess I have two perspectives, one from having worked for a very long time in the UK, and the second from leading a non-profit organization in Malaysia that now has tech that is going to be commercialized through our wholly owned commercial subsidiary. And I think the perspective is, from a Malaysian perspective, is what I see to be major challenges is the wider economy itself. The reality is that the Malaysian economy has always been built as a trading country. And as a trading country, we tend to be technology adopters, not technology innovators. And therefore, to try and succeed in an environment, a broader environment, you're not only trying to push your own tech and your own idea and to take it forward, you're actually having to change mindsets out there in order to be able to say that we're going to move from what we're comfortable with, which is a technology adopter, and we're very good as laggards to innovate and make money, but not actually as innovators. Now we're going to say we want to innovate. Actually, that transformation is extremely difficult. But I would say that I've actually been really encouraged by the conversations that I've had, especially in the past 3 to 4 years, because there are many Malaysians that have actually invested elsewhere, particularly the companies that have started to invest in California or in New York and other places, and they have investments elsewhere through their various arms that actually sensitizes them to an innovative thinking and innovative culture. And it's that we need to start to harness a little bit more to really figure out how do we get ourselves much better at changing the mindsets that Malaysians cannot. Too tired of Malaysia Boleh being actually a joke. The reality is we all say Malaysia Boleh is as oh my goodness, I can't possibly be next to that statement. But enough of us need to believe that it's actually possible. And we need to be able to find like-minded individuals to change the mindset that Malaysia is a laggard and a trading economy.
Thanks, Prof. Teo. Dr. Maru.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
I'm from Japan. Okay, thank you very much. I think everybody said deep tech startup is very difficult. Is it true? I already established 70 more deep tech startup in Japan. Easy. Very easy. Yeah. Why everybody said deep tech is very difficult and the IT is very easy? This is a timeline. The IT startup. You said that only 3 or 5 years you can establish in something like apps, but deep tech area, long distance to go, but very easy because this is very protectable from the IP. Yeah, so very easy to more discuss and more team up, and one by one we step by step we can create new things inside the laboratory. But one thing, we need some big money. How to get the money? The vision. If we have the big vision, a lot of money is coming from this vision. And the question, what you want to solve using this deep tech? These two things is very important for the create a deep tech startup. So, very easy. First, I have some question. And second, the big passion to solve this big issue. And make the mission and create a team. And one by one, step by step, we create this QPMI, starting from the question and passion and mission, and have some innovation. And then we create this cycle. I think deep tech startup is more easier to establish because the apps or IT is more, lead ocean. Very easy to go. Everyone, have some laptop, can do. But deep tech startup, the scientist and technologist can do that. Now, I think the ecosystem is more important for this deep tech startup. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Maru. Prof?
Thank you.
talk about this for 2 hours, but since I have 5 minutes. So, you know, I come from both ends of the spectrum, and I think it's very important for me, from my perspective as an academic researcher, that I'm now here. Because the issue in Malaysia, as you all know, is our consistency of opportunity. And we saw from Dr. Mani's great talk, you know, it is a continuum from research to the entrepreneur to the, you know, to the support system, the ecosystem as we call it. I mean, this is why you all are here. You all want this ecosystem to work. And where it's worked is when this continuum is complete. And it's quite rare because sometimes we put a lot of emphasis on this end and sometimes on that end. So I think we still have a lot of work to do. So, but the bottom line is, of course, when we talk about deep tech, and we launched our deep tech entrepreneur program in UM where I was, yeah, a few years back, because we recognized that we had invested so much into technology, into talent, that it was time for us to try and solve the problems or find the solutions for many things. And in the past, we've been very successful where we do it directly in collaboration with industry, like consultation or a contract to solve a problem. And that gave us the confidence really to actually tell us that we do have the capacity to solve problems. And a lot of these outputs we don't see and we don't appreciate how much university research has contributed to industry, because we do it mainly on a one-to-one basis. But it did give us confidence a few years back to think that now, perhaps we can also drive commercialization through entrepreneurship of deep tech, which is very different from, of course, doing contract work or consultancy. But, you know, it gives more scopes for people like Dr. Amani, who have platform technologies to provide solutions for many different problems, or, you know, to do the moonshot. Because when we work directly with industry, moonshots are not, there's no moonshot when you do a contract research, okay? Contract research means you deliver, and that's the end. But this idea of being able to do a moonshot, this idea of being able to create a platform where you can solve many different problems with the technology you have developed, is, I think, where we wanted to go with developing. But it needs the ecosystem support. And deep tech, as Maru-san has said, is a long drawn effort. It needs money, it needs receiving environment, as Sue has said, you know. And I always challenge, you know, people always say university have very poor commercialization rates. I also challenge, like, where are we, what are the problems we're trying to solve? Because the people with the problems here need to understand that if you want a really radical innovation to come in to solve your problem, then you too must be an innovative company or innovative industry to be able to receive this technology. We are really lacking, and we really have a gap of developers, actually, in between research and application. And we have to ask ourselves, and this is a debate I'd like to have with all of you, whose job is it? Is it whose job?
It's my job.
It's
It's
his
my job.
job,
It's my
and
job.
he can answer that later. So, am I very hopeful? Of course, because all of you are here, I'm really, really hopeful for the future.
Thanks, Prof. So, interesting question. So, it was not part of the list of questions, but maybe you can spend a bit of time there. What I'll do is we'll combine that with my next question, looking at the time also. We've mentioned earlier, I think from Eugene, Prof. Teo, Dr. Maru, Prof. Rofina as well, the second and the third thing which I wanted to ask, which is surrounds the what they call attributes, and also in terms of what makes an ecosystem works. But I think you've covered that more or less. So for the benefit of the participants here, I'm going to talk about future. Yeah, maybe you can tackle that question also. Whose job is it? Now and going forward. Yeah, marrying that questions. So when you look in terms of, when you envision the future landscape of collaboration, which is very apt in terms of your questions, Prof. Rishna asked just now, brought up. The future landscape collaboration within academia, industry, research institution, how do you envision that? Yeah, in terms of, again, expanding also from, the sort of the interplay, but now in terms of whose job is it? How do we need to do it better? Yeah, and not for the sake of just our side, ourselves, but also for the sake of the startups, the spin-off, for the companies that in dire need of our assistance. Yeah, so let's go deep into that and talk about in this futurescape. How do you envision that most successful collaboration happening between the private sector, the public sector, the academia, as well as civil society? Let's spend a bit more time there. I'll reverse the question, Prof.
Sure. I mean, I'm just going to put it into one word, really, communication. Communication and understanding each of our motivation and understanding each of our role actually in a collaboration. Because like I said, this is not a one-person job, a one startup job. It is really an ecosystem job to get things to the finish line. But everybody must not necessarily speak the same language. I don't speak Japanese, but I work very well with Maru-san because we understand the role we have to play in each of this, in this sometimes handover, sometimes sharing, So to me, that's the key. And we still have an issue about communication, I think, amongst our players.
Dr. Maru?
Yeah, same as Prof. I think the science bridge communicator, science bridge communication is very important. We know about science. Of course, not only the science, we know about the business. We can bridging between the science and the business. That kind of professional person is very important for this ecosystem, I think.
Thank you. Prof. Dio?
If I was to choose one word, I'll say scale and sustainability. So we don't do things enough times and in a sustained enough way. We keep changing every time. And as a consequence, every few years you have a new system, a new person, a new this. It's nice and fresh, but the reality is that there's not enough sustainability for you to be able to follow through with anything, particularly for technology, other than the IT sector, right? Everything to do with biotech is extremely difficult because by the time you get there, all the rules have changed, and then you got to find out again, and you go to the next level. So I do think that we, from a researcher point of view, what would be on my wish list would be some stability and sustainability. I think would be great, so that the system is there for long enough for us to know how to work with the system.
Eugene?
One of the trends that I've noticed in my circles has been people switching career tracks. And in the past, if you were a professor, researcher, you stuck to that track. If you were in industry, you stuck to that track. And what I've seen now is that there are cases where universities are bringing in people in their tech transfer office who have industry experience or have mentor in residence programs where they give early access to, not necessarily access, but it really is insight coming from industry, injecting that to the lab and the research at a very early stage. Another example could be folks who are pursuing academia, but they had a career in industry for 3, 4, 5 years and go into academia and research with a clear intent to develop something that they want to see in the world based on a problem that they've observed in the past. So you're seeing people who have a hybrid type of career, and they really enable the communication, right, and the familiarity and the cross-pollination.
I really like that. And that is where sometimes the whole bureaucracy issue must change, because we must allow for fluidity between academia and industry, maybe.
But I think we're not addressing the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is there's just simply not enough of us. we keep having to wear different hats. We are the inventor, the communicator, the professor, the entrepreneur, the person doing the pitch. We're everything. So the reality is the main problem in this sector, the way I see it at the moment, is just simply not enough of us. We're not making science interesting enough, and there's just not enough success stories to enable the system to feel that there's more energy, more young people coming in with confidence that they can make something work. I think that's the biggest challenge. Not having scale, sustainability, and enough sustenance to make it attractive for people to come in.
Thanks, Prof. Teo. I think in terms of an insight, I think we're not answering that today. I think it's something that we have to put into our programs and plans initiative, not just at Meranti, but also at the government level. We would like to take a question from the audience, and I have the question which has received 3 votes right now. The question is the Malaysian research ecosystem and policymakers truly ready for commercialization when it still follows an outdated TRL framework, where we should already embrace PRL and IRL instead? Also, with too much red tapes within the funding ecosystem, I believe that TRL stands for Technology Readiness Level, BRL stands for Business Readiness Level, and IRL stands for Investment Readiness Level. To the person who's asked this question, just make sure that I have those definitions correct. Yeah? Okay.
I don't think we should be so caught up with these acronyms and all, but because all 3 are just as important. If the technology is not ready, you will not have an investment ready prospect. If the technology is not ready, what is your business case? I mean, at the end of the day, it's non-exclusive. You need to actually, and that probably is where we should be heading, and where I think Meranti should be heading as well, is that for every technology, we should have a more holistic view of, the readiness level, not just TRL, but also BRL and IRL. They're not mutually exclusive. You cannot just drop TRL for BRL and IRL. I don't know.
I think we just need to accept that people coming into a job will always create something new, because anything that was there created by the past person was not created by me. So when I come in, I will create something new. So the reality is, when the system creates something new, as you as an innovator or someone going for the fun, adapt accordingly. You're not going to be able to change the system. Use it to your advantage. Pitch differently, but more or less it's in that same sort of framework anyway. We know that the main difficulty is whether you can pitch your idea, whether your idea is really good enough and it's going to be transformative. And no matter what framing system is used, it will still be evaluated in that way. So just use it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it's called. Go with it.
Yep, great. Eugene. You deal a lot with startups
Careful
as well.
to tread into these waters regarding some of the issues that may be more specific to Malaysia in this case. Yeah.
So you're
I mean, Korea moves very fast with technology transfer and all that. What's the secret sauce that you could share with us? Sorry, I have the question.
no, it's okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of skimming some of the questions too. I was looking, and I think there's some thoughtful questions here. But I think it really is, as much as possible, if we can validate the need for and the size of the problem and how much of a breakthrough. I mean, it's really hard. It's not just about the patents, but is this 3x or is this 10x or 100x? But wow, if it really is the potential for the game changer, then those are the ones we want to bet on, because even if most of them don't work out, for the technology doesn't work out, then we learn something, but also when those do work out, they're actually the most promising opportunities. So I do see a lot of questions about the TRL. I mean, you could have a really low TRL innovation. But if it really has that potential for breakthrough, that's something you want to, in tranches kind of seed and develop and nurture and validate whether or not it could be a real hit.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just to share from a Meranti perspective, we started off in terms of our National Technology Innovation Sandbox, heavily reliant on just the TRL, looking at technology. But one thing why we're doing that is because Magic, for those of you who are familiar with Magic, it is already in the business of helping startups to grow. So they are very familiar, the team is very familiar with the business readiness level as well as investment readiness level. So BRL and IRL is a program, two areas that we address in our Global Accelerator program. TRL is actually what we address in our NTIS program. So we actually have a combination of all the both, yeah? And also we realized something that we found out along the way is to create our own rubric. It's not just to rely just on TRLs. Again, use it, it's a good, nice concept, but again, don't, as I like what Professor Teo mentioned, is that use it to our own advantage, yeah? And I think we are all in this room here at Clever, we can find better ways in terms of how to pitch. Yeah, the problem is probably not the RLs, but in terms of maybe you're not pitching it right. Yeah, so I have no more time left actually.
Yeah, I just want just one more sentence, because what we don't talk about with this is impact at the end of the day, right? Impact of your work, and that sometimes cannot be measured with the normal.
True.
If I may, Safwan, I do want to comment on the first question only because it's getting so many votes. I do think it's important for us to know that research is not all about commercialization, right? There's research that's there to improve our university systems, and we need that money to be invested, without which our universities will go downhill even further than where it is today. We also need research that's there almost like audit. It's not actually going to deliver any outcomes from a commercialization standpoint, but it's still important, particularly in the Ministry of Health. We do need investment in research that just tells us where are the problems, because if we don't do that type of research, we don't even know what problems it is that exist that we need to solve. And then only the third part of that is the innovations that will solve the problems. So I don't think we should be putting all of our research money just into commercialization. Neither should we be looking at our research output and saying, if there's no commercial output, there's no success. I don't think that that's the right strategy. It is really important for us, wearing my multiple hats, that we should really bear in mind that research has got different outcomes. Don't expect everything to deliver dollars and cents.
Thank you very much.
That's why we're going to impact-funded,
Absolutely.
impact-driven research, because that definition is a bit wider. Yeah.
On the note of impact, I hope the session has been impactful today. And also in terms of, for you to help you deliver impact as well, we are running a program for the Registered Technology Transfer Practitioner. It is, in Malaysia, you only have 12 people with that title right now. And we believe that we have to have more of those skills in terms of echoing what you just mentioned. We'll be running the program starting from next year. At the same time, because the requirement is quite steep, you need 3 years of experience. We are running a Technology Commercialization Associate program, which is catered towards what they call that, those who are interested in the area of commercialization of technology and innovation. You can find both. You can find any one of my team members. Can I have Meranti? Can you raise your hands, please? Okay. So you have Meranti ends around the room. Please have a chat with them in terms of our RTT program as well as our technology commercialization program. Yeah. So you have been such a great audience. I mean, the panelists have been such great panelists as well. I wish we have more time that we can use to embarrass them further, but maybe it calls for another session next year. Yeah. And we will dig up new fun facts regarding our panelists. Again, thank you so much to the panelists, and thank you so much to the participants.
Thank you once again to our moderator, Mr. Safwan, as well. So our panelists would like to invite you to the center of the stage for a group photo. Maybe we can get you to, okay, that's great. Smile for the camera, big smiles. One more with a thumbs up. Wonderful, thank you so much. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to our moderator as well as our panelists.